Hey guys, Dr. Deuce at MTFUcoach.com. How are you? So talking about hair tonight, hair on your head. Looking at bodybuilders from back in the 80s to now, over a 30-year span, uh, I seem to remember, especially being part of that scene, competitive bodybuilders in the 80s, and even looking back at old videos, everybody seemed to have hair back then, all the competitors, most, and for the most part. Now you look at lineups, and there's a lot of contests going on right now, and I see them come along online, and I look here and there. Everybody seems to be, as they say in Italy, Scaldine Bald. Why is that? Now, we're only talking about a 25 to 30 year uh, uh, passage in time, and I know evolutionarily speaking, the human body doesn't change fundamentally that quickly for everyone to all of a sudden not have hair. I don't know if guys are trying to make their heads look smaller so their bodies look wider by shaving their heads. I don't think it's that. I do think the colleague I conversed with the other day, and we wrote a little article, he's a longevity expert. I won't use his name because it doesn't really matter, but he was saying that he believes, and I agree, that the guys now take much, much more exogenous testosterone in their drug panels as far as building their bodies, as opposed to the 1980s. In the 1980s, testosterone wasn't a really largely used drug, only because for the proclivity of developing gynecomastia and the bloating and the other things that came along with it. There were other better substances to use. But now you've got guys taking 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a week, 10 to 20 times the amounts that guys took 25 years ago. Of course, now they have aromatase inhibitors that block some of the negative effects of the testosterone and other drugs and reduce bloating and gynecomastia. But even still, you've got the higher levels of DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which is a byproduct that you don't want. And that DHT does attack and retard the hair follicles, making the hair fall out. And that's what you got going on, in my opinion. And if you're prone to MPB, male pattern baldness, you're only bringing on the ultimate outcome as far as your hair goes much more quickly. The choice is yours. And even guys who aren't prone to that, you take enough of this, you're going to knock all your hair right out of your head. You've got now the media portrays The Rock and Vin Diesel, some of these other guys who are, bald. I don't believe by choice. They say this is a sexy new look. Well, I don't know if these guys are trying to cultivate that look. I don't think it's their choice. I think if they had their choice, they would keep their hair. You go with what you got and you do your best, and I guess it really doesn't matter. But again, I don't think you should be doing anything to your body that's not reversible, and Lord knows what else might be going on. Now, as far as coloration of hair, graying of hair, I'm going to be 55 in less than 4 weeks. I think 27 days now, and I still have all my hair. None of it's gray yet. My father didn't go gray until he was in his early 60s. He's 79 now, still has all his hair. Why is this? Well, there's something called melanocytes that pump pigmentation into the keratin of the hair for the extent of your life until it no longer does. And when it no longer does, your hair turns gray. Males' hair turns gray earlier than women by about 5 years. If you want to take averages as far as when hair starts turning gray, 50% of people will have 50% of their hair turn gray by the age of 50. So it's 50, 50, 50. Me, on the edge of age 55 and with no gray in sight, I think it's genetics. I look at my father. His didn't turn gray until, like I said, his early 60s. And I also read some research where higher levels of B12 and pantothenic acid will help stave off the graying process. And I've always taken relatively high levels of these two elements among many more, only because I was around people who were really, really good guides when I was a really young guy, and these were put into my multivitamin panel that I've taken my entire life. So maybe that's helped. I don't know. I know with my father, he ate mostly cookies and candies until the age of 50, until he cleaned up his diet, but there were no multivitamins. So maybe it is mostly genetics. Denise says she loves to run her fingers through my hair, but I'll leave you with this. Nobody fucks with my hair. Have a good night.